Hello YouTube and welcome to another how-to concrete video. Today we're going to learn how to do grouting. Grouting can be used both interior and exterior. Before you've got concrete like that one there, it's plain and boring, but after it's cut, grout and sealed it looks beautiful. So normally you'd get a contractor in to cut your concrete and they do it with a concrete saw with a 10mm wide blade, and they usually cut at least 10 mils deep if not 15mm deep. So that's about half an inch. Here's a bit of an example of how it looks after it's cut. You see that the 10mm cut is on top of the expansion cut, and you can see that the expansion cut's done its job and it's cracked in the expansion cut. Not all your decorative cuts will have expansion cuts in them. In fact, most of them won't. So after it's cut, you want it nice and clean. So I get the water blaster out after I've cut it and completely clean it with the water blaster so it looks like this. Then you've got to wait until it's completely dry. It must be 100% dry before you start grouting. Right, next you're going to need some tools. So I use Seeker 212 grout. And I always have a leaf blower, a couple of buckets, mixing drill, a measuring jug, and a grouting canister. So as it's just me by myself, I mix up a little batch at a time. So I use 1 litre of water, and I mix it into a 5-litre jug. So the water goes in first, and then you mix the product in. So this is the Seeker 212 grout, and I fill it up to about maybe halfway up the jug, and that's usually about enough for a decent mix. Just gonna hold the jug with my feet here, stop it from splashing out, and to speed the video up a bit because you don't want to see it all at normal speed. Right, that's a heavy drill, so just lean it up against the other full bucket of water. Obviously didn't have enough powder in there, so I just keep adding to it until I get it up to the right consistency. You want it a bit like cream when you're whipping it, not quite stiff, but still runny. Yeah, have a look at this. I'll just get the jug here and give it a bit of a shake and you'll get an idea of how thin you want it. So from the jug you pour it into the canister and then you let it flow into the 10mm cuts. In the winter months you might get up to 100 lineal meters of grouting in before it starts going hard. In the summer you might only get about 5 or 10. So when the grout's drying off, you'll be able to push your finger in it and dent it and it won't stick to your finger. At this stage it's ready for the troweling. Now this is the grouting tool we use here. It's got 2 different sizes on it. One side is wider than the other. You always start with the wider side first. If you find that the grout is sticking to the trowel, it's too wet, just wait longer until it's hard enough. But you should be able to trowel it and it almost crumble underneath the trowel. As you compress it down, it'll push and mold itself into the shape of the trowel, and you're pressing hard enough that it's touching either side of the 10mm cut, and that'll give it a nice smooth finish. If you have any low spots, you just get any crumbs left over the side and compress them in to make it nice and smooth. So I've just sped this up a little bit. This is going into 20 times the speed. Look at me go. So like I said earlier, you do the first trowel with the wider end, and then you flip the trowel around once it's a bit harder and use the other end so it's a little bit narrower, and you can even hold the trowel on a bit of an angle just to make sure that you get it really sealed off to either side of the cut. So there I am, just leaf blowing it off. So you've got all the crumbs all over it, you want to get all of those off between each trowel. So this is just walking over the job now, having a look at it, make sure every little bit's done. I look on every crossover to make sure that they're all absolutely perfect going each way. Make sure the grout goes right up to the edges of both sides of the cuts and both ends of the cuts as well. So just wandering around, nice house, nice view, good setting. Love working at properties like this. So that's just one side. I also grouted the other side, which you would have seen at the start of the video. So just wander over there and have a bit of a look at that as well. So I finished this lot first. They're all looking good. So back to the other side again. These dark marks either side of the grout line is just the moisture from the grout, and they'll dry up and disappear tomorrow. now that's the next day. Today I'll be wetting it up and rubbing down all the spills of the grout on either side of the cut lines. So you can use either a rubbing stone, like a piece of hollow stone block, or in this case I'm using a scraper. So this just gets off all the little raggy bits and smooths it all out. And also good for getting off any crayon marks from when the concrete was marked out before it was cut. So you can see the concrete there, it was actually acid etched first, but even so, I'm going to re-acid it and then get it ready for sealing for the next day. If you want to see how to acid wash, please click on the video above. So here's just a few other jobs that we've done in the past. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, share, even add a comment. Ask me a question in the comments if you like. I will be more than happy to answer. Thank you for watching.